Thank you, Mitchell. Yeah, today's really a special day. Anytime that we're going to have a talk on missions, I'm always very excited about that. Line Area has a big focus on missions, and I really think that's great. In April of 2008, I stood up before you in this building and made an appeal to build a building in Ghana for orphans. And in about a month, there was enough checks that were given through that one. I never talked with anybody else individually. It was just all done from here to build this house in Ghana. And there's a house that holds 24 orphans with two parents in that house. Fred Asare is the director of Village of Hope, where that was put, starting in 1994. He's been the director all this time. He started at a very young age. We have a number of people from Line Area that have visited Village of Hope in Ghana. It's just an incredible place. I've always enjoyed going there. It's so well organized. It's so well run, and you're going to be hearing all about it. So just want to welcome Fred Asare. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you very, very much. I'm delighted to be here. The wonderful thing about being a Christian is that you can travel 10,000 miles away from home and still be with family. Is that not great? And so I feel at home. This is, I believe, my second time. I don't remember the first time, but I know I've been here before, many, many years ago. And I'm grateful to the elders for giving me this opportunity to give a report about the Village of Hope. Today is a very special day in many senses for me. 43 years ago today, on June 16, 1981, I was baptized into Christ. So today is my spiritual birthday, and it happens to be Father's Day. Thank you. And I'm a father to about 260 orphans, so I don't think any of you have that many children. And I'm so delighted that my co-worker in the kingdom of God, my dearest friend, Tommy Drainen, is here visiting from Ferrygate. Tommy, welcome, and so good to see you and for you to be here. I'm going to spend the next few minutes to talk about the Village of Hope and the work that we do in Ghana, West Africa, which this church supports greatly. Our mission is to save lives and serve humanity. And so we are about caring for the orphaned, abandoned, destitute, and needy children, and also providing health to sick people, and preaching the gospel, planting churches, and nurturing Christians in Christ. Village of Hope comprises these 7 different ministries. We have 2 children's homes, one in Fete, the other in Bongo. Fete is in the south of Ghana. Bongo is in the northern part of Ghana. And then we have a ministry to street children, a hospital, and 3 schools. And I want to tell you a little bit about each one of these. So Hope Children's Village is our first children's home. That is located in the south of the country. We are currently caring for about 216 orphaned, abandoned, destitute, and needy children, and children who have been rescued from human trafficking. Unfortunately, even to this day, slavery still takes place, and many children are involved in being taken as slaves. And when the police rescue them, they bring them to Village of Hope, and we take care of them. So these are some of the children that we take care of. Over the last 3 years, we've had a baby's home for abandoned babies. So all the babies that you will be seeing are babies that have been abandoned. In Ghana, abortion is illegal. You cannot have an abortion in Ghana. And so when teenage girls especially get pregnant, they have to carry their pregnancy to term and deliver the babies. And they would often move from their community to another community and abandon the babies. And the social services of the country does not have a place for these babies. And so they bring them to the Village of Hope, and we go and take care of them. All these beautiful babies were abandoned. And now we've taken care of more than 50 of them. And they come through until they are given for adoption. And then they then go to be with the adoptive parents. And then we take care of them throughout the time that they stay with us. And we do not receive any support from the state or from the government. This is done mainly through Churches of Christ giving money to take care of these babies. And some of them would grow, like the girl on the right, and when they get to 2 years old and they've not been given for adoption, then they would move from the baby's home to the children's home so they can pick up language and they can grow with their older brothers and sisters in the children's homes. And so many babies have passed through our hands. We are currently caring for 16 babies in our baby's home. When a child is brought from the street or abandoned, first we take the child to the hospital, where the nurses will examine the child. Many of them are unstable. Some of them are at the point of death. And so the hospital will stabilize those children. And then when they are okay, then they are moved to the baby's home. And so we continue to care for them. We have lovely and very wonderful caregivers who take care of these babies around the clock, 24 hours a day. And so sometimes they will take them for a walk on our campus. And these are women who are doing very well because they always take care of these children. That is part of the work that we do, caring for all these babies who have been abandoned. Of course, in the children's home, we have children from 2 years and above that are in the children's home, and some are in elementary school, some are also in high school. High school in Ghana is 10th grade through 12th grade, and then some are in college. We have some of the children also in college, and some who have graduated from college. All these kids you see, or young men and women you see, came to the Village of Hope as children, and they've grown there, and now they are in college. Some of them are not able to go to college, but then they go to learn a vocational skill or a trade skill so that they can become independent. So about 80% of our children are able to go to college, and then the other 20% will go and learn a skill so that they can, when they are adults, they can be independent. Last year, 8 of our children graduated from college, and these are 4 of them, and these other 4 also graduated from college and are now independent, and they can take care of themselves. We have 7 cottages where we take care of the children. In each cottage, we have a married couple that takes care of the children, and then we have 2 homes for the babies. So 7 cottages for the older children, and then 2 cottages for the babies. The babies are cared for by single women, but in the cottages we have married couples that take care of the children. So these are some of our house parents who take care of our children, and then some of our caregivers as well. And so in 2022, 28 new children were brought to the Village of Hope, and last year, 19 new children were brought to the Village of Hope. So as some graduate from college, some also come into the Village of Hope. And as I said, we are caring for about 216 of them, and many of them have been baptized into Christ. This is some of our cottages that we take care of the children. So we have a second children's home that is in the northern part of Ghana. Ghana is bordered on the east by a country called Togo, on the west by Ivory Coast, in the north by Burkina Faso, and in the south is the Atlantic Ocean. And so very close to the northern border of our country is a place called Bongo. And in Bongo, we have a children's home there that serves the northern part of Ghana. And the other one, the older one, serves the southern part of Ghana. We are currently caring for 41 orphaned and destitute children in Bongo, in the northern part of Ghana. So these are some of the children and staff at the children's home in Bongo. And so over there we have 41 children that we are caring for. And this is the first child from that home that has gone to university and has completed university. We are very proud of her because she serves as a good example for the younger ones to see that you can also go to high school, you can also go to college, and you can graduate and become independent. And so that is a very good example for the other children. We have 3 cottages in Bongo. Remember, in the south, we have 7 cottages, but in the north, we have 3 cottages. And in each cottage, we have a married couple that takes care of the children. And they live as families. So each cottage is one family. One family may be eating one meal, a different family will be eating a different meal. The house parents decide on what they eat in their homes. And so, and then at the Village of Hope, every morning before the kids go to school, there's a family devotion. And then every night before they go to bed, there's also a family devotion. And usually they will gather around the dining table, the whole family, and then they'll have a devotion. So we say our dining table is for both physical and spiritual food for the children. These are some of the staff and some of the house parents, married couples, that we take care of at the Village of Hope. There are many teenagers who live on the streets. They are on the streets out of poverty. It is not because of drugs or crime. They end up on the streets because they have no opportunities. After the 9th grade, very few people are able to go to high school, and so they end up on the streets. And we reach out to those kids, and they are teenagers, and we train them. We're currently training 41 of those children, and these are some of the teenagers that we've taken off the street. If we find a little child on the street, we move to the orphanage or the children's home. But the teenagers on the street, we move to our trade school where they learn hairdressing and auto mechanics and catering and other skills. So this is one of our workshops. This is the hairdressing workshop. So we train them to be hairdressers. This is our leatherworks workshop where some are trained, and then this is a training session. Some are also trained in auto mechanics, and so we train them for about 3 years, and then at the end of 3 years, they have the skill to be able to become independent, and we help them to move out and live in a place where they will not have to go back to the streets. Some of them we return to their communities so they don't have to go back to the streets. And so by helping, since we started this program in 1999, we have moved more than 500 teenagers off the street, giving them skills. They are working, they are productive, they are taking care of themselves, and they don't have to return to the street. One of the things we also teach them is to be financially independent. And so if you are into sewing or into hairdressing and you make an income, how much of that income do you put back in the business? How much of that income do you spend on yourself? And how much of that income do you save or invest? We train them in all this, so when they leave the Hope Training Institute, they don't go back to the street and they are financially independent. In 2022, 8 of them graduated. I want you to take note of the graduation gowns. They sewed it themselves. And then in 2024, in March this year, another 8 graduated. On the picture on the left, you see some boxes there. Those are equipment and tools. When you graduate, we give you tools or equipment. So if you graduate as a hairdresser, we'll give you all the equipment you need to open your own salon or your own hairdressing shop. If you graduate as a seamstress or a tailor, we would give you a sewing machine so you can sew. So in Ghana, most of the time, you don't go to a shop to buy clothing. You buy the cloth, you give it to a tailor or a seamstress, and they sew for you. And so everyone who graduates is equipped so that they can become independent and take care of themselves. And so these are some of the equipment that is being given to those who graduated so that they can go, they can work, they can earn an income, and they don't have to go back to the streets. These are some of the works, some of the artworks of the teenagers on the streets, and they're able to make these products. You see OTS on the bag. OTS stands for off the street. So that's our brand, off the street. And these are products that are made by teenagers who lived on the street. And so they're able to make these products, they're able to sell these products, and then they make an income that way. Village of Hope also runs a hospital. The hospital started as a small health post or a clinic, small clinic. So when you're caring for many orphans, on Monday, one of them will fall sick and you take him to the hospital. On Tuesday, 2 will fall sick, you take them to the hospital. On Wednesday, 1 will fall sick, you take him to the hospital. On Thursday, 4 will fall sick, you take him to the hospital. So every day, we were going to the hospital. And the hospital is 45 minutes away. The nearest hospital was 45 minutes away. And we were going daily. So we decided it's best to get a nurse who will live on campus and take care of the children when they fall sick. So we don't have to go every day. And if a child is sick beyond what the nurse can do, then that child will go to the hospital. So we moved from daily to about once a week. Well, the community didn't have any health clinic or hospital. And one day, a farmer was sick, and he was being carried back to the community from his farm. Our farmers are not doing thousands of acres of farm. When you talk about a farmer in Ghana, you're talking about a small land, and they use machetes and hoes to do their farm. So as this farmer was being carried back to the community, somebody said, there is a nurse in the orphanage. Why don't we take him to the nurse? And so they took him to the nurse. The nurse took care of him, gave him some medicines. He went home, and he got well. Well, in less than a week, we'll wake up in the morning, and people will be sitting in front of the nurse's apartment. And then the more she treated them, the more people came. And so we got a second nurse, we got a third nurse. Eventually, we had to get a doctor. And now, that small beginning has become a big hospital that serves about 4 different counties. So now, in 2022, we took care of about 16,511 patients, which is about 65 patients on average a day. And the numbers keep going up every year. Now we have 3 doctors and 3 physicians. We have 12 midwives, and we have more than 60 nurses. It's a 24-hour facility that provides health care to thousands of people in 4 different counties. 4 different counties. We have laboratory services, pharmacy, dental, and then we have a NICU. Our NICU is the second in our state. Our state has a population of 4 million people. And in that 4 million people, the only place with a NICU was the big government hospital, which was on the western side of the state. And so when we started our NICU, it has become the second NICU in the state that is serving the eastern side of the state, and now saving many, many lives. So this is our hospital. We have about 70 or so beds, 76 beds in the hospital. These are some of the people working there. And this is our NICU that saves many babies. Many other hospitals are now bringing their preterm babies to our facility because that's the only facility that serves the eastern side of our country. We have what we call the Prematurity Week, where we go to the public and we educate the public about helping premature babies. Because in Ghana, there are so few NICUs that when a child is born premature, it's almost like the child has been sentenced to death, and the parents just give up. So now we are educating the public, don't give up. If you have a preterm baby, bring that child to the hospital, and we would help that child. And so we go from community to community, and we educate people, and we involve the traditional leaders. On the bottom right picture, you see some people dressed in our traditional wear. These are the chiefs and the queens of our communities. Once you involve them, then you can reach the people as well. And we then have mothers whose babies have been saved at the NICU give testimony to the public. When they do that, it's a powerful testimony that if you have a preterm baby, you bring that child to the hospital. Hope Christian Academy is one of 3 schools that we run. It's from 2-year-olds to the 9th grade. And we open it to the public, so the orphans go to school there, but it's also open to the public. And the public pays school fees. This is what we call a professional day. So the children dress in professional uniforms and come to school on that day. They play soccer, which is their favorite game there. And today, our school, Hope Christian Academy, is self-financing. Our second school is called Hope Ridge School, and it's in the eastern region of Ghana. And that school is also self-financing. So what happens is that those who want good Christian education bring their children to the school, and they pay school fees. With the fees they pay, we're able to pay the teachers, and we are able to run the school. And then the orphans get to go for free. So the orphans go on scholarship, And my dear brother Tommy was one of those people who helped us in starting the school and in running the school. And today, our schools are self-sufficient. So they are self-financing schools because of how it is run. Hope College is our high school. We call it a college, but it's actually a high school, 10th through 12th grade. In Ghana, elementary school ends at the 9th grade, and high school is 10th through 12th grade, and they are two separate schools. You don't mix the two. So there's elementary school, there's high school, there's tertiary school. Tertiary school is university, and so the three are separate. And not everybody gets to go to high school. At the end of 9th grade, you have to write a national exam. And when you pass, then you get selected by a school. So going to high school in Ghana is like an American child going to university. You leave home and you go to the school where you get accepted, because there are about 20,000 elementary schools in Ghana. There are only 950 high schools. So think about children from 20,000 ninth grade schools trying to get into 950 high schools. There may not be a high school in your community, and so you have to go where you get a high school. And so Hope College now has 510 students, and it is open to the public. And so in fact, the orphans are the minority, and the orphans attend for free on scholarship. But the other people who bring their children then pay school fees, and the school is able to run that way and give scholarship to the needy. And so it's doing very well, because that your 12th grade exam also determines whether you go to university or not. And our students have been doing very, very well, and so they are able to move on to the university. We have a police cadet corps. These are students who want to go into the police service when they grow old. So it's like a club in the school. And we have a regimental band as well in the school. Village of Hope is not just about caring for orphans and needy. As Christians, we believe that our work is not done until souls have been saved. Because anybody can feed a hungry child. The Red Cross can feed a hungry child. UNICEF can feed a hungry child. Anybody can provide clothing. Goodwill can provide clothing. Anybody can help a sick person. Any hospital can do that. It is only the church that can save the lost. And so we don't just limit our work to the physical. We are much also involved in evangelism, and we support the growth of the church and the planting of churches. Over the years, we've planted about 15 congregations, and we are now actively supporting those congregations by holding seminars and training sessions for them. We also invite ministers in our region to come together for seminars and for leadership training and spiritual formation as well. Out of the 15 congregations that we have planted, we are still nurturing 3 that are young congregations. And as you can see, 36 children were baptized into Christ in 2022, and then last year, 21 were baptized into Christ as well. So many souls have been baptized into Christ as a result of that. Ghana is going through an energy crisis. We have an electricity problem. Now the country is not able to produce enough electricity for everyone. And so electricity is being rationed. And sometimes your power is turned off for 8 hours, sometimes for 12 hours. Just the week before I came to the United States, our power was turned off for 26 hours. When it happens that way, you have meat and fish in the freezer, and it thaws, and the food gets bad. You go to the office, you cannot work, because you are using a laptop, and after 4 hours, if your laptop battery runs out, you can't work. Our internet is based on the electricity. It's a plug-in internet. And then the power goes out, we don't have internet. And so we are going through a crisis, and the challenge is that you don't even know when your power will be turned off. There is no timetable, so you cannot plan for that. And that is really affecting the work we are doing. This is a situation of light of. The picture you see there is the hospital. So the hospital has a generator. And because of the NICU, we need to have power all the time. because some babies are on incubators and oxygen and all of that. And so when the power goes out, the only place that has electricity is the hospital. And the rest of the campus has no electricity. So on this trip, I'm trying to raise money to buy a generator so that the rest of the campus can have electricity. So I took this picture on my camera, and then I turned around and took a picture of the rest of the campus, and this is what I got. So there is no light. Everything is dark. You cannot work. You cannot do anything. And so there is a great need. I have a newsletter here. We produce this every month, talking about the need, and we have some out there on the foyer. And so please, if you can pick one, and if you want to receive a monthly newsletter, we can also sign you up and send you to either by email or a hard copy. But we are trying to raise $36,000 to buy a generator, which costs $16,500, and then we have to buy cables, so that it's underground cables, and underground cables are expensive, so we're trying to buy that also to be able to have electricity around our campus. And any help we can get will be truly appreciated so that the rest of the campus can have electricity and the students can learn also. 3 weeks ago, 1 week before I came, I've been in the United States for 2 weeks, and a week before I traveled, there was a heavy rainstorm. And I was meeting in my office with 9 other people. There were 10 people in my office. And the wall on my office building, where exactly behind me, collapsed. So on the left is my office. And the building collapsed on me and the people in the office. Thank God nobody was seriously injured. And we all escaped death. We could have died because all the bricks came falling down. That is my office. And the wall above fell over me and all around me. But some invisible hand held the fan up, because if that had come down, that would have caused a very serious injury. So this is the office on which where I was working, and there were 9 other people, and the wall collapsed, the roof was ripped off, and the water came pouring in. And this is my desk. You can see the bricks on my table. And so Ghana has 2 seasons. We have the dry season and the wet season. Well, this is the wet season. It's raining almost every day, but there is no roof over that. This is the chair I was sitting in. And you can see that the bricks broke the left arm. And yet, I was sitting in this chair, and this is all I got. I got some bricks falling on my hand, but that's all I got. If the brick that broke that chair had hit my arm, it would have fractured my bones. But God was taking care of us. And so no harm came to any of us. And so this is the building that has been destroyed. And I did not plan to raise money for this building, but it's raining daily. It's been 3 weeks. And we've not been able to repair this building. And so we need help. That's why I call it an emergency help, because June is the wettest month in Ghana, and rain is falling almost every day, and there is no roof over this building. And we're trying to raise $14,286 to build the wall that broke, to put a roof on that building, and to put a ceiling. And we have to also change the electrical cables because the water has gone into all the electrical cables, and we need help with that. But Lionary Church has been partnering with us for many years. It's been 16 years since you gave money to build a building at Lionary. And we are praying that we will continue in this partnership. But on behalf of all the elders who oversee the work in Ghana, and then the staff, and especially the children, I want to say a very big thank you to this congregation for the support you give to us. You support some of the children in the orphanage. You support the work of the Village of Hope. We are deeply grateful. So thank you for the help you give. And there is a message from the children in the Lionary House for you. So I want you to take the next 1.5 minutes to listen to that message.
wonderful love. Library Church of Christ, thank you. May God bless you. Bye-bye.
Children in the Lineary House. This is the second generation of children. The original children there have all graduated from college and are independent, and these are new children. And the Lineary House, or the Lineary Church of Christ House, would continue for many generations to take care of many children. So thank you, and God bless us all. Amen.